I'm Arthur Kade for Celebrity Page, welcoming Stephen Dorff, and we're talking all about his new movie, Wheeler. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. It's funny when you start talking off camera, Stephen, and then I'm like, no, I need this all on camera. We were talking about how this movie, Wheeler, which you co-wrote, co-produced, you star in, you do everything. Did you do craft services?
Pretty much, yeah. Me and Ryan Ross, my director, who's over there, we did pretty much everything on this one.
We were talking about how the music from it is incredible, and you're singing it, and it's now playing on the radio, and it's all about a country star in his 40s, or approaching 40, who's trying to make it, and here you are, an actor who kind of made it at this point as a country star.
Yeah, it was weird. We played the Ryman last week, the Ryman Auditorium.
That's unbelievable.
I've never been more nervous in my life, and Little Big Town was on after me, and it was bananas, because, we kind of set out to do this really special experiment, me and Ryan, who I'd worked with for a while. We had these 4 songs. I played them for Ryan. I didn't want to do a Stephen Dorff album. I like making movies, and I love music, but I kind of was, hoping to score a movie one day or do, dabble in that world. But this character kind of took a life of its own, and then we put him up on its feet, went under some prosthetic makeup, and for the most part is all real people playing themselves and thinking they're kind of being interviewed or doing a scene with a country singer for a YouTube channel or something. They have no idea that we're making a movie and that these little cameras are movie cameras. And so we got a great, it's kind of been done in the comedy format, but it's never really been done in a drama. So it's kind of cool.
I always wonder, when you're a recognizable figure, which you are, and you get to not be recognizable, because with the prosthetics and the look and the hair, it was hard to tell it was you. Is there a certain liberating feeling that comes with that when people don't know it's you and you're approaching them?
Yeah, I mean, especially in the music stuff, because I was so nervous to play live, and I have such respect for kind of the live thing. I've done some live talk shows and in front of audiences and stuff, but I really make movies, so I don't do theater, and I haven't had that experience. So for me to get up there and be behind this kind of facade and then fill it as an actor would normally, it was incredible. And then to kind of play music on top of that and see if, oh wow, if we're going to bomb here and I'm going to have a bad night, well then we have a scene to write, or we'll kind of let it write itself. Then we'll talk about why I sucked and I'm going to go back to Texas. If we kill it and we do great, then wow, there might be a congratulatory scene and so forth. So kind of like really we left it loose and let the movie kind of write itself, and saw where this guy was going. And Ryan did a great job of really just capturing those moments and then cutting together a movie.
You're filming over 2 weeks, and obviously your goal when you're out on the streets, when you're talking to these people, is to create as much gold as possible for the film.
Exactly.
What happens if it doesn't happen? What if the reactions you're getting from people aren't what you hope for? I mean, there's got to be a lot of pressure when you're putting together a film like this.
Yeah, I mean, I credit Ryan really a lot too, because he cast this movie the way a director would cast a movie. We'd have a casting director and we'd meet all these interesting, talented people and cast the best one for the part. He did that on the ground in Nashville with real people. So in a way, I think he felt confident with the choices, because I don't really remember a scene that didn't work. Did we ever have a scene that didn't work? As far as like where it was just dudding out and we were like, whoop, this isn't going to make the movie. People were really genuine and really honest. And then you throw Chris Stapleton in there and
How does that happen, by the way? He's one of my favorites. I've interviewed him, and he's
the best.
the nicest dude on the planet. But how do you get him to appear in the film?
Well, we worked together. We did the Blade movie together, the first Blade, and then I've always had such respect for him, and we thought, geez, we're gonna break this kind of middle-aged guy in Nashville and try to get some momentum going. What if he met his idol, Chris Stapleton? So we made a call, and I called him and talked to his wife and him, and told him we were gonna embark on this kind of very unique independent movie that was kind of homegrown in my living room in Malibu, and through a few songs. And normally you'd have a movie and then you write the songs. We had songs and then we just hatched a movie idea. But Chris was awesome, and then he came to the set and gave us that song, New Mr. Me, for the album and for the movie, and really made the sequence a lot more special than we knew it would be great just to get him on camera with Wheeler, but he singing that song and and just the essence he brings to a room, even at 80 years old. He's such a cool dude.
How hard is it to make it in this business? So for a guy like Wheeler, obviously this is a film, and I don't want to give too much away, but we see this guy coming up through the ranks. How hard do you think it is, and how realistic is it that something like that could happen in that business?
In Nashville, it's pretty common. I mean, it's, when you think about what happens in Wheeler's trajectory in these kind of 2-3 weeks he's in Nashville, he goes on the tourist kind of bus tour down Music Row,
I love it.
He walks by the Ryman, he hits Broadway, he does the honky tonk thing, but he wants to play his open mics, but then he meets a songwriter who's a real time songwriter. Everything he's kind of been like, wow, I would love to get to Nashville and try my hand at just seeing if people like my music, the way they do in my little town of Kaufman, Texas, and he goes down there and he meets Bobby Tomberlin, who is a real songwriter and who was in on this with us,
Yep.
So the Bobby really vouched for this character at the Bluebird and these places,
awesome.
So it gave us this great access, And if I had been calling as Steven, it kind of would have blown the whole fact, why am I in makeup? Why are we trying to do this then, So Bobby really was our key assassin, as we called him, kind of the guy that would just vouch for this guy. Hey, man, this is Wheeler. I met him on a bus tour, and we wrote this song. And the truth is, in real life, we did write Pour Me Out of This Town together with my brother. And ultimately, he called me up at the Bluebird, and that was a one-taker. That was a packed night at the Bluebird. And as being in the writer's round, Bobby's allowed to invite somebody up on stage. And so he invites Wheeler up, and we won over that crowd that night. And it was just like a really special thing. But Bobby, I think... is a true asset to this movie. We couldn't have done it without him. So
That Southern accent, you killed it, man. How long does it take you to get that thing correct?
Well, Ryan's from Texas, so he's from Dallas, and my thing is and I think he knows me pretty well because we worked together on a lot of movies in the past, not as a director actor, but in different ways. And my thing was slowing down my speech, because in Texas and he would always remind me to slow it down because I tend to talk kind of fast. I'm like a Google. I'm like, hey, I like that shirt. Hey, what's going on? Hey, who's that behind the camera? And Ryan's just like, no, you need to slow it down, And so talking to you here, sitting in Al's office, it's a pleasure to be here with you, man.
I love how you break right into it
So you
at
can,
will.
slow it down and just kind of. Wheeler's just a thoughtful, smart, kind of educated guy. And again, I credit my director for that because those were ideas that I didn't necessarily have, and I'm glad somebody else was listening.
I remember when Blade came out, and that was one of my favorite all-time action movies. That you're at this apex of fame at that level. I'm always curious, when people are at that level, parts are probably being thrown at you. Is there a part that you passed on or missed that you look back and you're like, damn, I wish I would have had that?
Yeah, there were some like there. I mean, there's always some that you don't get or you miss. But I think for the most part, I've always kind of done the opposite. So after Blade, I got offered every villain and every
Deacon was great,
every
man.
studio movie. But I kind of felt like, oh wow, I want to do something different now, And so I would always change it up. So I guess I wouldn't get pigeonholed. I did a movie I remember after Blade with Susan Sarandon. Which was Earthly Possessions. It was like an HBO movie, and I kidnap her, and so I was a little bit of a bad guy, but it was more of a two-hander with me and Susan. And I've always made choices, kind of wanting to work with different actors or directors, and not necessarily doing always what they wanted me to do. So I kind of kept them all guessing in some ways, and then, but yeah, I mean, there's been parts that I've been offered that I didn't do that I should have maybe done. There's been ones that I did do that I probably shouldn't have done. There's ones that I wish I had done. I think we all kind of go through that. But for the most part, I've been pretty happy with the difference of my career and the fact that I can do big films and then hatch an idea like Wheeler, and I'm able to get it made, and we can go and just have this experiment and then see what will come of it. And now we've got a movie that's doing really well on demand, and the album's doing well, and I would have never wanted to venture into the music world just out of respect for my dad and my brother, because they're very successful songwriters. For the people that don't know where I come from songwriting and in my family. And I chose the movie path. And but I wouldn't have wanted to do this unless I knew we had something special with the character and also with the song. So
Does that, because of your family, make this movie a more personal movie for you?
yeah, totally. I mean, obviously Wheeler's a fictitious guy that we created, but it's definitely me throwing my left leg into a pool that I definitely got an ear for music from my father. I don't read music, but I'm able to write songs, so that's obviously
That's
from my
amazing.
dad.
Dude, that's amazing to me because
That helps with the accents. You talk about accents.
It's incredible.
If you don't have an ear, it's hard to do accents or copy things and click into a tone. So, like I credit my dad for all that. And then the fact that my brother has become such a successful songwriter in Nashville and this new generation that I was nervous to do this for them, but then to have them watch it and really love it really meant a lot to me. So it's a real tribute to the world of songwriting, the guys in the background that write the hits for the big guys, and also, music in general, and just it all begins with a song. Kind of like, to me, a great movie is like a great song, so it all kind of goes together in some way.
Another character in this movie is Nashville, and you've mentioned that because I've been to Nashville multiple times, but not being in the music community, I didn't realize how much of a tight-knit group it is down there. I mean,
Yeah.
they are like family. What's
Oh,
it? Is it like that down there?
Yeah, I mean, I just in getting to know Nashville a lot through my brother, because he'd lived there for 14 years. The community and the sense of kind of family there is pretty overwhelming. And then on top of that, it is Music City, because besides country and that huge genre of music, you've got Jack White living there, Kings of Leon. I mean, just pop bands, rock bands. I mean, everybody. It's really the songwriting capital of the world, and so. It's a pretty interesting city. I mean, I've learned so much more now than when we shot Wheeler. Because Wheeler, we were working and we knew what we wanted to hit. We had it mapped out, our kind of treatment for the movie, but most of it was all improvised and we just let it go. But actually, in going back, I've been back 6 times maybe in the last 6 weeks, so almost every other week, and got friends there, and I've been hanging with a lot of my brother's friends, and it's a special place, yeah.
We were talking before we went live about how your songs are being played on Sirius on the highway, which is like the big country
Yeah,
station.
that's exciting. They told me
Is
that
it crazy?
they woke me
Like,
up the other day. Yeah, well, because it's a little movie, right? And it's living really. What I love about Wheeler, and in a weird way, because we spent about a year trying to figure out who's the movie company for this movie, and it's not your normal genre movie with me and Dustin Hoffman and another guy, or me and this actor and another guy. It's just me, and I'm under makeup, and it's not really a normal movie. It's if anything, it's a music movie that is a character portrait and an inside look at this almost dream that happens for this guy in a little period of time. And when you think about what actually happens to him, to go back to your other question, because I tend to sidetrack sometimes. Really what happens to Wheeler is he meets through meeting Bobby Tomberlin, he gets in that studio and he gets a development deal, which is pretty common when you come into town and you play some open mics. To actually achieve a development deal isn't like, selling a platinum records. It's basically, you cut 3 songs, they see how it is for you to work with musicians, and then they go, do we want to take this guy further? Do we want to put the money into him and do an album? Well, Wheeler probably would have gotten that chance, but some stuff happens. But
does it surprise you that you've had success as an actor, but that people like the music, that people responded to the music? I mean, that could have gone either way. I was thinking about that. Like,
I'm
really
a little
gone
too
another way.
close to it. I mean, when I was at the Ryman, it all came really full circle, because Wheeler's trying to get there, right? In the beginning, he tries to go backstage and doesn't know what backstage is, but he's just tripping on the thing like a little kid in a candy store. Then he gets invited to go by Chris Christopherson and to play with him. And I don't want to ruin what happens in the movie, but in real life, Wheeler did kind of get there. Not in the makeup, but I did get there and played 2 songs there in a packed Grand Ole Opry night. And it was really one of the craziest things I think I've ever done in my career, which has been long. 'Cause I'm an old man. I'm 43 now.
It's funny because I was thinking about, I grew up with Blade, but then you've done the e-cigarette commercial, which is
Yeah.
another. What are you most recognized for? Because you have spanned multiple generations
Well,
now.
funny enough, it's weird because I've hit so many different genres. You know, if I go to like the art kids and all the film students will be like, you know, going crazy over the John Waters movie, Cecil B. Demented, or Sofia Coppola's movie somewhere in Europe. You know, but then the most fans, I mean, it's Blade and it's Felon. You know, this little prison movie I did really took off, I guess. And so they're always constantly, yeah, Blade. I get the e-cig one too. It's like, why are you smoking real cigarettes, man? I get that all the time, and I'm like, well, you know, because I don't smoke blue anymore. That's why. But no, you know, I mean, that was fun. Actually, Ryan, that was one of the ways we connected. He was working with me for a long time on other films, helping me out, and then Ryan actually came up with the idea to just do this weird little video for Blue, and it wasn't even, we weren't hired to do it. You know, they sent me all these products, so he said, why don't you just start riffing in front of the camera? And I said, all right, yeah, what? Like, what do I say? I'm tired of smelling like an ashtray. All right, hey, this is a new thing. Let's try this thing. And then we sent it in to the company, and boom, they liked it. And we made, I think we made that company pretty big, eh?
Lesson number one from Stephen Dorff. Here's how you get an endorsement deal.
Yeah, no, we made it up, you know. But and then we became friends with the creator of the company, and went on and did it for a few years. And now it's some new bozos on it, so I don't do it anymore. But I got to quit smoking one of these days. Period. I got to quit.
You're awesome, man. Congratulations on the film. Everybody,
man.
make sure to check out Wheeler. It's in theaters and on demand, you were telling me. So
Yeah, I think on demand's the way to see this puppy.
that's the only way to watch movies now, man.
They
Who
gave
wants
us
to, I
some-
can't go to a
they
theater
gave us
anymore.
some turkey theaters, so I think on demand's the way to see it.
Go get Wheeler on demand and check out this guy. He does a great job as this incredibly fast rising country star. I couldn't believe it was you. That was the coolest thing about it. I'm like, that Stephen looked nothing like you. Didn't
Thanks,
sound
man.
anything
Well,
like you.
I'm glad you
That's
liked
called
it.
being an actor, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's what I love about my job.